on today's episodic installation of Pokemon Red and sometimes Blue, alternative main glitchless classic single segment as well, no saving and loading, speedrun extraordinaire speedrun. I will be playing as Horsea. Yeah, Horsea. Horsea's pretty cool. It's a Pokemon, not one I am personally terribly familiar with, but it is in fact a Pokemon nonetheless. Fighting Brock, real quick. For anyone who doesn't know what the hell's going on, even though you're still like, what, we're approaching a minute here, so I mean, I don't usually, retention doesn't work in such a way where you would watch something if you don't know what it is, unless it's so puzzling to you that me explaining what it is that you're watching would alleviate that tension and require you to click off. So I'll just keep it as a mystery. You can garner it yourself via your intellectual expertise from watching and looking at the associated material. We're going to be playing as Horsea, Route 19 Super Rod Encounter. I decided to do, this is a little bit of a pairing. I decided to do 2 runs back to back in a single day. Each one was about 4 hours, so it's about 9 hours total. And I had a lot of fun. I used a lot of recreational substances to enjoy myself, and I sat down and I played Pokemon and I started fishing. I am not one to fish frequently. There's a dog. It's Max the dog barking.
What the hell's your goddamn problem, Maxie? What the hell? What are you working at, dog? Why? Why?
Anyway, we're in Misty's gym. Misty, the water type gym leader. It's a not too bad of a challenge. I kind of went in a little bit earlier than I normally do this early in the game. I got pwned. I kind of hit a little bit of a problem with the second rival fight. I don't normally, I don't know what even is normal at this point. This is only my 17th run. We're still in the era of me normalizing things, including normalizing speedrunning the video playback this early in the run, because this is a Horsea run. So, again, starting out with Squirtle, evolve into Wartortle, not going to evolve into Blastoise, even though I do hit level 36. And running through the rest of the game after I catch one with a Horsea. Which I catch at around 2 hours into the game. It's actually like, I wrote it down, 2 hours, 8 minutes into the game. Sorry for my bodily noises. Anyway, the first half or so, ish, if you will, of this is just running through the game with Wartortle for the 17th motherfucking time. And nothing too incredible happened. My Mount Moon was okay. Kinda got a little stuck after that, like I mentioned. Going through Rock Tunnel. This run, I did this run with Staryu back to back. And honestly, I maybe would have mentioned this later on, but we're approaching very quickly Rock Tunnel. I was about like 5 or 6 minutes slower in this run after Rock Tunnel, and that's just with Wartortle. So, and one other thing in these runs that I do, and this is kind of like it's just sort of a rule, at least for this series of the set of speedruns, is that I don't check my stats. I don't I don't like reset for stats. I don't even know what good stats looks like. That's kind of a part of the game I'm delaying as long as possible. I used to a very long time ago, about 10, 11, and longer even, years ago, I used to speedrun a game called Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories, and that game, a huge component of that game, if you're familiar at all, is resetting for a deck. And when I would speedrun that game back in the day, sometimes you'd sit there for like an hour just resetting, and that's not fun. You know, like, I'm not trying to go for any world records here. I'm just trying to have fun with Pokemon. And I catch a flying Pokemon there. I got Doduo. Shout out. I recently did Doduo in a recent run. I did Doduo. At least I think I caught Doduo. Maybe it was Spearow. I'm pretty sure I got Doduo. Maybe unless I'm inserting false memories into my brain. But anyway, resetting for stats, not something I do in these runs. So it's possible my Squirtle / Wartortle was just weaker in this run than it was in my Staryu run. It's possible I'm just a lot worse at the game this time. My second run in one sitting, probably not likely to be that case. Although, I mean, I'm not the greatest at this game. You know, that's the thing is, I'm doing this commentary the day after, afternoon. Slept in a little bit. Every time I do the commentary for these, I always just get really excited because it's one chance for me to notice all the mistakes I made. Like right there, I took a little pee break against the Marowak. So next time, just don't pee. Or buy a bottle. Those are not too expensive, and I can save off like 30 seconds, a minute. You know, like that's not nothing. So maybe next time I'll be able to get a little bit of a better time. Anyway, got the Poke Flute. The Poke Flute is one of the big. I think it's the essential mid-game marker. Once you get that bitch, you're very close to being finished. The Super Rod, I'm also about to acquire, and the Super Rod is what allows me to fish in this game, and there's all kinds of different routes that have different fishing Pokemon combinations. Previously, I've done a run about of Kingler, which required me to catch a Krabby, which you can do right next to the Super Rod, so that's pretty simple. But with this run and the previous run, I'm going to Route 19, which has 3 Pokemon that I was interested in finding, which would be Shelder, HORSEA, and Staryu. I can never find the rare candy here, by the way. It's always fucking... I know where it is. Every time I look at it here, I commit it to memory. And then I always go, is it 3 and 2 and shit? Fuck. I don't know. Anyway, check this out. About to go fishing. Super Rod, not even a nibble. Alright, and HORSEA, number 1. So, when I did Staryu, I was going for just whatever Pokemon I got. I was willing to go with either Shelder or HORSEA. I could have caught a Goldeen. I could have caught a Tentacool, but those are more common earlier in the game and in different areas. So I wanted to go for the more elusive, not necessarily exclusive, although in the case of Staryu and HORSEA, I'm pretty sure they are exclusive to this location. So I would have taken a Shelder because Shelder's cool. Anyway, last time. It's 100% odds, I mean minus Tentacool, that I'm going to get something I'll catch and run with. This time I was hoping not to see a Staryu again, because that would kind of suck, because then I got to re-roll over and over again. But I got HORSEA first up, pretty cool. So very fun. I mean, I would have taken a Shelder too. I wouldn't necessarily have preferred a Shelder. I gotta swap the Pokemon here at the Safari Zone. That's one thing about, I've been mentioning this in some of the previous runs, a lot of them actually, because it's a major problem, especially with a Pokemon like Staryu or HORSEA, is that when you get this motherfucker, they're at such a low level, it's such a late part in the game, that repels don't work. You have to swap out for your starter. I mean, they work, but like repel, it's not just like a function of preventing Pokemon from going after you in the wild. It's a formula that calculates the leader of your Pokemon party's level, and so that's another factor for the repel formula. Because I guess they wanted you, if you need to grind, they want you to still get encounters. You get a lower amount of encounters, but if you're a low level, they want you to be able to like, hey, buddy, you might need to level up here, so consider it. Anyway, we went to Koga's gym. I try to do Koga's gym while I'm down here in Fuchsia. One of the things about this, and one of the rules for the alt main speedrun category, is that, we're not running with something you get in Route 1 or Route 2 or Route 20, whatever the one is next to Viridian. We're not running with anything like that. We're running with something you get late in the game. So you want to get the Pokemon you acquire with the minimum number of major fights, basically, which in this case are badges. So you can't, even though it's faster to take out Lieutenant Surge with the Wartortle when you're there, you have to go get HORSEA as early as possible, which, you know, it throws a little bit of a loop. You're at a lower level going through Rock Tunnel. That's not too much of a problem, but, you know, it is a factor. And that's what makes this category a lot of fun, as opposed to just ROM hacking the custom starter in there of whatever Pokemon I want to do. I might do that at some point in the future. By the way, we're fighting Koga. Everyone, you know, check this out. Koga. Yeah. You know, just doing the little swap battling with Wartortle. No big deal. Probably just going to do some double team against that self-destruct and make it out alive. But that's one of the fun parts about doing this run, where I have to actually catch the Pokemon, right? So I did a Kangaskhan run, and finding one of those bitches is a little rough, you know? So that adds a layer of entertainment to this run. And again, I'm not resetting for stats either, right? So if you were to do a custom starter run, you could very easily just reset your stats because it's at the very beginning. But like, if you're doing a run where you catch a Pokemon like 2 hours in, do you really want to be catching like 5 Horsea? Do you really want to be catching like 15 Staryu? Do you really want to be catching 37 of these guys and then comparing the stats and then doing all this? Like, really, it kind of ruins the speedrun, at least in my opinion. Now, it is like, it obviously adds a lot of randomness, but again, I'm not trying to go for any world records. The world record of Nidoking is just under 2 hours. So, you know, I still have yet to get under 3 hours, but I think one of these guys I can get under 3 hours with. Maybe when I start doing evolutions again, I can get under 3 hours. By the way, I got really lucky with this trash can puzzle again. I don't quite understand exactly how it works. I thought I was onto something, but I wasn't. Don't worry about that. Anyway, going and hunting down the Pokemon, catching it, especially guys with like low catch rates and stuff, that adds to the entertainment. Like when I do runs of the legendary birds, that's going to be a lot of fun. Even though with Moltres, you can just have the Master Ball, but with the other ones, the Master Ball actually. No, I think you could get the Master Ball for all of them. But would it be worth it? I mean, unless you count Giovanni and Sylph Corporation as a major fight, which maybe you do. Maybe that should count instead of just raw badge number. I don't know. Maybe that's open for debate. But the Master Ball would make it less fun, so probably would just run it with Great Balls. Yeah, that's right, Great Balls. I read on like Game Facts, like I'm 20 years ago or something, that like Great Balls actually work better than Ultra Balls and Red and Blue, and I've been riding off of that for a long time. So you know, anyway, we're in Pokemon Mansion. I tried to get here to Blaine as soon as possible because Horsea is a water type. I ran into a little bit of a problem just with a wild Growlithe, so I was like, just gonna try to get through this. One of the problems with going through Pokemon Mansion so early is that, again, you get these wild guys here, which just kind of slow you down. But it's probably worth it in the end. Again, just the easy experience you get from Horsea going up against fire trainers over and over again. Very useful. I always usually, you know, especially with the unevolved guys, I will go through all of these trainers except for that one. There's an extra one that doesn't correspond to a door. I don't know if they forgot to put a door there, or like if there was going to be a door and then they removed it. I'm not sure exactly. I'm not sure, even, as some would pronounce it. Anyway, one, again, I mentioned this before with Staryu especially, but the level disparity is brutal. I don't know when the best opportunity. I actually fought this guy in this one. I was really scraping for experience, actually. Okay. But I don't know when the best time to use the rare candy is. Again, these are speed runs. I want to go as fast as possible. You know, I'm only doing one of these per Pokemon, at least for now. It's possible I do another set of this, of all 140 whatevers that you can do this type of speed run with. On that note, does Moltres really count? Because you can only get it right before the Elite Four, so I mean, I don't know. Ugh. Anyway, I'll do that run in Fire Red, Leaf Green, because they move Moltres around there. But anyway, is when to use the rare candies is what I was talking about. It's like, is it faster to just use them all immediately, raise your HORSEA up to like level 24 just immediately out the gate? Then you wouldn't need to do the swapping, but then you don't get to have the rare candies for the end of the game when Lorelei's a little bitch and you need to level up, right? So it's kind of like a conservative play style too, because I'm always going for the what if I need the rare candies? Not, I definitely need the rare candies right here. I'm struggling to even beat a juggler for fucking goddamn sake. No. But I might, possibly, maybe, need them later. It's something I'm still working on from a philosophical standpoint, from a philosophical standpoint, and you know, maybe one day I will make a decision to use the rare candies earlier. I do use a couple of them, but like, you know, going all out immediately versus leveling up a few times in a horrendous condition and then going, ugh, whatever, I'll use like 3, I guess. And you know, so, but anyway, here's Blaine. Again, level 30, I'm really low level, but I got double team. Do I need to explain double team? Probably, but I won't. Double team, it is so good in this game. It's kind of insane. One of these days I'll just do a no double team category, you know. Any Pokemon, no double team. That, you know, maybe that's something I can do. But again, the thing about double team is you do kind of need to have speed, you know. So I did that Geodude run, and Geodude gets destroyed by everything with one shot, has like no health, and also is slow as fuck. There's no speed. And so, you know, double team did not help me with Geodude. I needed to hit level 80 something with that motherfucker. But anyway, the thing about HORSEA here is that HORSEA does not know Thunderbolt, unlike Staryu. But I went for an ice-heavy layout here. I got Ice Beam, I got Blizzard, and or is it Blitzard? I've got Ice Beam, I've got Blitzard, and I've got Surf, because you just have to have Surf. I know HORSEA, I'm pretty sure, can learn Hydro Pump later, which probably, for all intents and purposes, might be better than Surf, but it's so much later, and Surf is honestly just so good, and plus you get the Stab add-on, the same type attack bonus add-on, not to be too redundant, right? And so, you know, Surf is just really good. We're not doing competitive play here. We're doing a speed run, and, you know, you can't overwrite the HM. That's why it's worthy of note, unlike the Erica battle. I was a little bit higher leveled, and I had Ice Beam and Blitzard at my disposal, so that went a little bit okay. Could have been a little bit, you know, rougher. I had a hard time doing Erica with Staryu, so I tried to carry a little bit of that knowledge into this run. And that kind of is, without trying to spoil it, let me show the chart, actually, while I take this pee break in the actual playback. Frozen solid, nice. I came back from peeing to see some freezing, which is good. I like freezing while I pee. And so, but check out this chart. That's right, the chart. It should still be on screen, depending on how I edit this. Maybe I'll edit it off screen and then edit it back on screen. You know, I might do something like that. It's possible. Now I have to. I kind of locked myself in. But anyway, if you look at the chart, just you know, keep it there for a minute. You'll see that you know, I'm getting around. I'm kind of coalescing around like a 4x time. Which I think is actually not bad, because I've been running with these pre-evolved, you know, some, you know, I might even do some of these guys that don't have evolution. So people, Pokemon, I mean, I guess they're kind of people, it depends, you know, unless you, well, that's a philosophical question that I won't get into right now. Anyway, we're fighting the rival. Check this out, gameplay on screen. Yeah, gameplay. Woo, get him, D. Yeah, Dragon Rage, still alive. Huh? Pretty good. Oh yeah, Blitzard. Anyway. What was I talking about? I was talking about fucking something. Damn. Fuck. You know, that's one of the interesting things about doing this commentary after the fact, is that I can just pause the commentary and then go back and see what I was about to say. In fact, I'm gonna do that right now. Right, I was trying to gas myself up for not being as terrible as I actually am in reality. So what I was saying is that 4.5 hours... not too bad for unevolved Pokemon. So I'm hoping that whenever I eventually do some evolved guys, which I kind of count the single, like the Chanseys, those kind of people, Pokemon people, whatever. I do count them more as like a late stage. You know, if there's no evolutions, Skyther, Pinsir. If there's no evolutions, how come, by the way, we got Skizor in gold and silver, but nothing for Pinsir? Very interesting. By the way, Giovanni, no problem at all. But if there's no evolutions, I don't know. If you were to ask me, is that an unevolved? Technically, it is. Is it, pre, not? Those are all words you can use that have slightly different meanings. We're fighting Sabrina here, level 38. Sabrina was a little bit difficult. The thing about HORSEA is HORSEA has all special, attacking, offensive, and, just, like, not great stats. I mean, it's a HORSEA, right? So, like, fighting, Alakazam and stuff like that with just special moves can be a little bit difficult. Sabrina, was a little bit difficult for Staryu as well. But yeah, I actually managed to get through there pretty easily, but I was very nervous, is what I'm trying to articulate. Very poorly, even. So I got that rare candy, pretty good. But again, Chansey, I would consider that more of a late evolution, final evolution. I would compare Kangaskhan more to Rhydon than I would to Rhyhorn, right? So that's just my opinion. But right now I'm kind of on an unevolved Pokemon kick. First stage evolutions. That's kind of what I'm doing. Maybe I'll switch back to, or maybe I'll just go through all of them. I'll just speedrun all the unevolved Pokemon, or maybe I'll save like 5 or 6. Sprinkle them in later. That's the fun part about doing this. It's kind of like collecting the Pokemon all over again, and I get to choose the order. And honestly, I would implore anyone listening to do a challenge like this. Choosing your own order is part of the creativity. Speaking of which, I'm choosing to do some extra battles here in the game that you're watching commentary for, as opposed to just hearing about my philosophy on production of YouTube videos, where I don't actually talk about the game I'm playing. But I'm doing a couple extra battles here, just because I'm really worried about my levels. I did use a couple extra rare candies earlier, so I'm just worried. Like, HORSEA has no fucking health. There's 0 stats and everything. There's just 0, 0, 0 on everything. Like, I'm just worried. This Doug Trio I actually was very scared of, because the Doug Trio is super fast, and then they use, like, Dig or some shit, but I managed to make it through there with relatively little scathing. Very easy. I mean, I've said it before, but Giovanni, fantastic idea. Horrendous execution. Really a missed opportunity. One of the best villains. I think Giovanni, just from aesthetic, is a good villain. He looks really cool. They changed his aesthetic a little bit in Fire Red Leaf Green, and I'm not sure I agree with it entirely. I mean, he still looks cool in that version, but like they're just a little different vibes-wise. Unlike the Wise Guys, of which they are based on. But I love his appearance in Red and Blue. It's just, he looks like a total creepo gangster, and it's just awesome. But the execution is really bad of everything. Just all 3 fights, well, the first fight is actually the best execution. Anyway, speaking of fights and fighting, and children that are fighting, but instead of fighting each other, like you should, if you're a child, I guess, they use a bunch of pets and creatures to do the fighting for them. Giant dragon monsters that are flying type, actually. Stuff like that. And so this Gyarados is a real problem child, and I got really lucky with a freeze there. That's one of the things that I didn't get when I was playing Staryu, because I just forewent ice moves. I went with Psychic and Thunderbolt, but HORSEA I went with a lot of ice moves, Blitzard and Ike-Bam, and they get a lot of incidental freezes, and it's just super nice. And so, yes, that's the Alakazam that I was really, Sabrina actually went pretty simply, but I did have this core memory, in my brain from last night, when I got really drunk and played Pokemon for 9 hours, of Alakazam taunting me. I just totally misplaced it. It's actually, this guy's, the champs, the proto-champs Alakazam, that is just fucking with me, man. Like, Psychic? Are you kidding me? I just get one shot by everything. I did not get lucky with this Gyarados this time. I did not get it freeze, so now I'm having to eat up all my revives. Again, HORSEA. And this is a trend with all these unevolved Pokemon. And you can see I was going to learn Hydro Pump, but I ran out of slots, and I didn't want to erase Double Team, or I was thinking about doing Blitzard, but I was like, they're basically the same, and Blitzard has a chance to freeze, so it's probably better than the stab, maybe. But maybe not, I don't know. But just losing here, just losing a lot, just being a 2-time loser at this moment in time. And but I am gaining levels, and again, that's one of the aspects of doing these runs single segment. It's kind of like the single segment thing started out because I just, you know, I don't know what the quality of my batteries are. By the way, if you heard a tapping sound moments ago, you are not going insane. I dropped something on the floor. But anyway, if it was a pen on a wood floor. But anyway, it started out because I'm not too confident on my batteries, so, and you know, saving and quitting is its own kind of like category in Pokemon, because like saving and quitting is associated with a lot of glitches and stuff like that. And honestly, I just kind of like, you know, turning the machine on and just playing the game and then turning the machine off, you know. That's just something I like. Call me old school, you know, whatever. But you know, it has the effect of like, you know, you gotta keep with any bullshit, but you also get to keep the experience, you know, like you accidentally teach a double team to the wrong Pokemon. It happens. I think that happened in my Ghastly run. It happens, you know, every once in a while. You just gotta roll with it. And that's kind of fun, the fun here. So when you make a fatal error, you just kind of have to keep going and hope you can recover. And that's, you know, and it doesn't happen too often in Pokemon outside of like literally just fatal errors, like you just hit the wrong button. Like sometimes I'm hitting the down button and I use a Super Famicom controller to play the game, because I play on the Super Famicom. And so sometimes, I don't know if it's the controller or if it's the game or if it's, I don't know what it is, but sometimes I just hit down in a weird way and it just like will do 2 inputs. Like I'll hit down, but like in a way that like it'll cross the threshold for activating the button, but then like kind of bounce back and then back in. Like, I don't know, it's a weird, so either way, every once in a while, I just double tap down or up, and that has caused me some consternation. Let's just put it that way. A constellation of consternation, if you will. And so anyway, we're in the Elite Four, the Elite Five, really. I mean, the final 5. You know, and I mentioned this before, but in Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories, we got the final 6. I heard these motherfuckers nowadays are doing the final 7. But we'll put a pin in that. The final 7. Are you kidding me? You motherfuckers. But in this game, we got the final 5 is what I'm going to start calling them. The big 5. The final 5? Maybe they're not so big. Anyway, Laura Lee, because I don't have Thunderbolt like Staryu, Laura Lee ended up being really fucking difficult. Laura Lee was the hardest of all of the Elite Four members, the final 5 members. And it was one of those situations where once I could beat Lorelo, I feel pretty confident that I can just kind of beat the rest of the game. I'm kind of scared about Gyarados because I don't have Thunderbolt, but, you know, I have Ice Beam, you know, a chance to freeze, you know. So I was just really concerned about Lorelei, and, you know, like, with items, you can kind of just brute force your way through. One of the problems with my move pool here is power points are pretty hard to come by. I believe Surf has 15, but Double Team is not offensive. Blitzard has 5, and Ice Beam has 10. So you really only have, you know, 30 offensive moves. Each guy in the final 5 has about 5 Pokemon, so it's about 25. And, you know, the numbers aren't adding up. If you're spending 17 Surfs and all your ice moves on Lorelei doing chip damage, you're going to have to dip into the Elixir reserves. And again, this is a single segment run, so if I use my Elixir, I'm kind of fucked if I lose after that, right? Because if I rely on a situation where I get by Lorelei without any PP left after that, and then I don't have any Elixirs after that, I'm kind of fucked. So I had to make sure that I was able to beat the game before I went in and used an Elixir. And spoiler alert, I do beat the game. You know, it is possible, if you can imagine such a scenario, to beat the final 5 trainers of this game with a HORSEA. especially when you have a shitload of revives and double team and stuff like that. And, you know, you got the badge boosting of double team, which, you know, you could do with agility. You could do with something like that, but it's not the same. Anyway, Bruno, gone. And we're going against Agatha, who's probably, like, my favorite member of the Final Five, just from an aesthetic standpoint. Like, just, like, not only is her design pretty good, just, like, the kind of, you know, scary old lady, you know, just kind of good vibes there. But then, like, her sprite specifically, like, the way she's got the cane centered, and she's like, yeah, she's old enough to be your great-grandma, but she is going to send you to fucking kindergarten with the fucking training that she's been giving these. And the fact that she has ghosts, you know, like, it's some crazy-ass shit. Anyway, speaking of crazy-ass shit, Agatha, pretty easy, actually. I got a lot of lucky freezes all across, which makes me want to run Seal. Go back to the Seafoam Islands, like my original intent with these fishing runs. Or some other ice Pokemon. What do you got? Jinx? Can you get a Jinx outside of trading? I know that there's one you can trade for it, but anyway, we're going to Lance. I don't think you can get a Jinx in this game, if I remember correctly. Outside of trading, I'm pretty sure. Lance, I was really scared about this Gyarados, and I got the first fucking turn freeze. Like, I was so scared about that Gyarados. I was horrified. I was petrified. And I got the fucking first turn freeze. I was, like, at that point, like, it's kind of like injecting heroin in a sense, you know, which I've never done, but I can only imagine. I just felt this rush of, like, relief just flow throughout my entire body. Like, the cortisol that was flowing through my veins, you know, the stress hormone just, like, kind of, you know, retracted. It's like, you know, anyway, we're going to go up against the champion. I'm using my elixirs, so, well, I'm using at least one, of my elixirs, and so, we're going in, champion, go. I mean, the music, oh god, it's so good. Every time, I swear to god, the music is so fucking good. 17 times I played this game in just like a couple months now, and I gotta tell you, it doesn't get old. It doesn't get old. I'm getting old, but not the music. And so Ice Beam on Pidgeot, you know, pretty simple. This Alakazam, this is my worst nightmare. So I've got a bunch of double teams stacked on me, but like I wish I had more double teams because I'm scared. Not only for defense, but also for offense. But I got a really, really lucky set of RNG here. They just use Reflect over and over again. No Psychics, no Bullfuck. I'm good to go. Rhydon, super fucking easy. One thing is you can kind of stay out against Rhydon a little bit. And sometimes they'll use Tail Whip or Leer, and those will give you some badge boosts. So that's a strategy I was considering at some point. Gyarados actually I think got a Leer in, or at least they tried. And so that's, you know, it's just some interesting stat piling on. I love Red and Blue, but this guy Dragon Raged me. I lost with Dragon Rage. Are you kidding me? I had revives, but like I was kind of nervous about using my revives. I didn't have too many. Like, you know, I had a decent chunk, but you know. Anyway, this Gyarados, I was just nervous. I got a Leer here. We're using War Turtle, which I honestly feel kind of bad. I mean, you know, War Turtle didn't really do much and died almost instantly, but like, I don't know. It does make me feel bad. One of these days I'll commit to a proper, you know, a solo run or something. You know, although I guess how do you do that with HMs? I know that there's a couple guys that can learn all the, there's only 3 HMs you need, but, yeah, this is where the HM slave comes into handy. Anyway, Gyarados, this guy's throwing me for a loop. Used Leer, thank you for the boost. I'm really hoping I just get like a freeze or something, or at least just kill this motherfucker. I was really nervous about this, but, you know, once you get after the Gyarados, it's pretty much smooth sailing. Our K9, woof woof, is here to soak up a lot of my damage and fuck me over, because it's Fuck Me Over Friday, apparently, here at my bedroom industries. And You know, I didn't anticipate kind of like getting through by the skin of my teeth here with this champion fight, but that's what ended up happening. You know, this should be a good matchup. I should be able to take down RK9 without too much difficulty, but this guy's just got such a large health bar, you know, and I'm trying to double team, which I maybe should just use Surf, but like, you know, I'm kind of worried about the Venusaur. Razor Leaf is not going to be a friend to me, so I just kind of want to one-shot or maybe just like get a nice freeze on Venusaur. That's what I'm going for. That's what's happening in my spirits, in my mind. And I got a little lucky there, you know, lucky, not really with all these double teams. And no Razor Leaf, none of that bullshit. They're charging in a Solar Beam, but doesn't matter because I have beaten the game once again for a lot more than this, but at least recorded the 17th time in with a Horsea. If you can believe it, a little you know, last minute help from Wartortle, but with a Horsea. So I'm getting a lot of progress done. We got about 147.6 of Pokemon that are possible to do here. You can't do like Machamp or anything like that, at least without doing like trade link cable. Maybe you know, I have a Game Boy Color. I'm pretty sure that is the same link cable as a classic Game Boy. And the Super Game Boy 2 that I used has a link cable slot. That's why there is a Super Game Boy 2 to fix the clock speed of the console and make it trade capable, specifically for Pokemon, if I remember correctly, because it came out really late for the Super Famicom, like well into the life of the Nintendo 64. Anyway, fun trivia out of the way. Look at the chart and goodbye. Pause it just to get the, you know, whatever.